Hi everyone, Ray from Pro String with another racket restringing tutorial. Today, as you can already see, it's a tennis racket, Babolat Pure Strike Tour to be exact. The specs are 320 grams, 98 square inch, and the rest is probably irrelevant to when it comes to stringing, at least for a simple tutorial that I'm going to do. The string required is that's not the one. Where is that here? Nope. What have I done with the label? Ah, it's on the racket. Wow. Cool. So they want a hybrid. So Pro String Nemesis on the mains with the Pro String Pure multi-filament on the crosses. 16-19 stringing pattern, and we have 8 holes at the bottom, 4 loops effectively, 2 to each side, 3, 4. So that means we start from the bottom. You got it. We're gonna count our mains. It's a new racket, guys, brand new racket. You can see, hopefully you can see the plastic is still on the handle, never been strung before, so that automatically means we're gonna go up 4.4 pounds of tension, equivalent to 2 kilos. So here we go. We got our first 2 mains. That's 1. Like I said, there's 8 to each side, 16 in total mains. So we just need to count 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. So now to measure, I've got one side that I've measured, and now I'm just going to pull the strings through my thumb and index finger until I find the end. There you have it. Clamping at the top is the only way to do it. Recommend that 53 pounds they wanted, but we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.4. If your machine doesn't do 0.1s, go 4.5. Slightly over, it's going to be like 2.1 kilos, or maybe not even. Probably not even. So there you go. We've upped our tension because the grommets are new and will take time to set. And even then, in my opinion, they still lose more than 2 kilos. So you can go higher if you like, but that by the book is the recommendation. That's what they recommend. So guys, always stringing symmetrically and balancing your tension to both sides always. So always 3 mains to each side, pulling always the string individually. There you have it, our first 3 to each side. Our 4th. Sometimes when the grommets are brand new, so in other words when the racket is new, they tend sometimes to slip back, so the grommets tend to slip out of the frame, so just be careful with that. Especially on some of the Wilsons, I find it happens a lot. That's 6 to one side, guys. FYI, for your information. my last main. I've upped the tension 15%. You can go up to 20, which is now what they're recommending as well. I feel that with 15 is pretty good. Maybe I do need to go up to 20. Feels pretty good in my own playing rackets. When I play for myself, I play it at a semi-pro level. So I don't feel that I need to go up 5 extra percent. You can do if you want. What's going on here? Nothing. My Fitbit wants to know how much stress I'm feeling. In all honesty, not massive amount, but not no stress either. I've got a lot of rackets here, and I have limited time as I need to spend time with my kids in the afternoon, evenings, which takes me. Last night I finished stringing at half 12 a.m. Again, last main string, guys. Up your tension. As mentioned previously, 15% from 15% from on my side, on my knots, on my last mains. Don't pull the string too hard. I know it might look like I am, but I just have a tendency to go on my tiptoes when pulling the string. Cut your knot. Again, Parnell knot, guys. Who actually coincidentally just texted me with a few tips and a little bit of advice. Good friend of mine, Richard Parnell. If you're watching this, Richard, seems like you have stumbled on my videos, and I appreciate all your guidance always, despite not having not finished my qualifications, let's say, back in the day. But anyway, that's another story for another day. But all good in the hood. Something I still have pending, and I really want to get done, but I just... it's funny because I have such a successful stringing business now, despite not having finished my stringing qualification. So I don't know exactly what that means for me, but hopefully I'm doing a decent job. There was a small tip he said, but I didn't know if that applied to all rackets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half full lengths of the racket for a 16-19 stringing pattern. Just looking at the this racket doesn't actually tell you the stringing pattern on the inside of it, but I'm guessing interesting. There you go. Doesn't 30, 15, 20, that's kg, pounds of tension. Nope, doesn't tell you. Okay, fair enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 16, 19. I think there is a Pure Strike out there somewhere that's actually, oh, it's 18, 20, isn't it? I don't think it's 16, 20. There are a few 1620s out there. Anyway, I'm going to double check. You can start on either side. Not particularly my favorite where you have to start your crosses on the Pure Strikes, at least on the second generations. I do have the third generation here. Demo. I've got all the demos pretty much now out there. All the new versions, Yonex, Head, Babolat, you name it. So that's the third generation of the Pure Strike. I believe it's the 310 version. Looks very similar in paint job. I'll get that done at some point. We are coming up to tennis season here in the UK, despite it being awful outside. But I mean, awful. Has not stopped raining all night, all morning. It's almost midday here in the UK, London. But anyway, I'm still busy, but I'm sure when it does rain, it normally affects the tennis world, obviously, as you'd imagine. I find that with this, so we're using the Pro String Pure Multi-Filament, which we produce in Austria, and I feel that the outer coating on this string has a special outer coating. It tends to stick. It doesn't stick, but I find that the first couple weaves quite difficult in regards to pulling the string across. I'm just going to check my video real quick, make sure the angle's still right. It looks okay. Fine. And then, of course, using your right hand, depending which way the racket's facing. If the racket is on this side, then left hand. Avoiding as much friction as possible. The gauge on both strings is 125, by the way. On the polys, which is the Pro String Nemesis, and 125 also with the Pro String Pure Multi-Filament. Today is going to be a long day of stringing. Today is going to be a 10-15 racket day for sure. 12, coming up to 12 p.m. This is number 5, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Good way of checking your work, guys, I've mentioned in other videos, is to just compare your last weave to the one that you've just done. As you can see, I've always got 2 going, which is the one ahead or one in front way of stringing. Again, always pulling down. So a good way of checking your work is, if you look at your first weave, let's say, it should always finish opposite. Bit of residue here for some reason. Anyway, so starting under should finish over, and then again completely opposite. The top string will always be opposite, yeah. So under, that should be over, and so on and so on. A good way of checking your work again is over, and that is under. So if you're there, but just be careful if you've done a double weave, over, under, and you may have done it twice in the same line. It might correct itself for the next weave, so be careful with that. It might look okay on the current weave, but check your last weave sometimes, because sometimes when you finish, you go back and you look at it all, you look at your work and you go, oh no, what have I done? And if you tied your knot, etc., then good luck with that. Felt the clamp was a tiny bit loose there. I don't know if I've slightly hit the wheel. It's got a little wheel on the back of the clamp here. Maybe I've touched that by accident, or it's just loosened up by itself. So you should have a good feel of that as well. If you have a good machine especially, you should kind of feel if it's too tight or too loose. You should be able to clamp, unclamp quite easily. I'm expecting somebody around now, so if I disappear, that's because someone's coming to pick up the racket, which seems to be a day-to-day thing. Of course, I'm just going to leave my door open slightly. So always supporting, when you're pulling your string, support your cross string so it doesn't come down, because later on if you need to straighten all your strings when you finish your racket, when the, you know, whether you straighten your strings on the machine or off the machine, regardless, but you want to not have to move your strings around too much after you finish your stringing job. So I've added the lock on that one. I don't know if you guys noticed, because I don't want it touching my fixture. I could have probably gone to the other side, but it's a good thing to have, this nice locking system on the Wilson Bayardo original. So yeah, I just used the lock very briefly there. Well guys, we're finishing up two more crosses to go. So stringing one ahead there, a little bit short. Not short in terms of finishing, you know, I'll be fine now, but I just, this last one ahead, let's say, didn't really reach properly, so I just left the string out of the grommet, but I have plenty of string here, plenty. Up the tension, 15% as always, or 20, as you wish. Right, the Parnell knot. Talking about Parnell. So you go through your nearest available shared grommet. Normally they're enlarged even when they're new, kind of indicates where you need to go. It's quite close by, as you can see, just from here to there, the next hole over, which is my 7th main string. And I'm going to go do a single knot and then down through my first original single knot, and then it's generally, well, all you have to do is take a look. You can give it a quick pull and you'll see which side you need to pull. So we'll do that. Tighten our first knot without pulling too hard. Remember, don't pull too hard. And there you go. There you have it. Job done. Pull that a little bit. Just didn't like the way the string was facing down a little bit. Fine, all good, guys. There you have it. The pro string, the Babolat Pure Strike Tour. That sounds pretty good to me. Actually sounds really tight. Cool, fine, perfect. Straighten up your strings a little bit. In this case, there's not much to straighten up here, really. Thankfully, luckily. And the strings I am moving, it's just talking about millimeters. Straighten up your mains as well. There you have it, guys. The Babolat Pure Strike Tour 1619, 320 grams. Done. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully there's some useful knowledge there. Have a great one and happy stringing. Take care for now. Bye-bye.